My golden child sister proposed to her boyfriend during my wedding ceremony, so I kicked her out and made her cry. My sister has always been our parents' golden child, and due to this she grew up used to being the center of attention. I definitely wouldn't say I was neglected as a child, but I was always in the shadow of my sister. I remember for my mother's birthday one year I made a hand-drawn book for her with her and I on different adventures. She thanked me, but she eventually ended up throwing it into the bottom of her closet where it got very crumpled. My sister, the next year, drew a picture of her and our mom, and that picture ended up in a family album, and a copy was made so our mom could put the picture in her wallet and carry it around. I remember one day asking my mother about my picture and where it was, and my mother told me to stop asking rude questions. I wasn't being rude, I just wanted to know where my picture was. Anyway, it was this kind of treatment that made my sister believe that the world revolved around her, and the fact that nature granted her beauty made her narcissistic beliefs even stronger. When we were young she was not a bad sister, just entitled and a golden child. However, that all changed when we got to high school. All the guys in our school were interested in her and she would take every chance she got to remind me of the fact that guys were more into her than me, despite the fact I was a junior and she was a freshman. She was the freshman girl getting interest from the seniors. She took pride in this fact too. A major rift in our relationship came when she was in sophomore year and I was a senior. I was dating a guy I really liked, and my sister constantly told me he was out of my league. Well, one day I caught them sleeping together. I cried and asked my sister how she could do this, but she simply told me that he deserved someone prettier than me. It didn't help that my parents basically told me that they understood what she did was very wrong, but it has already been done and there's no point in crying about spilt milk. This also caused me to distance myself from my parents. My sister and my ex went on to date for 2 years until he ended up cheating on her ironically, and my sister came crawling back and begging for my forgiveness, stating she now sees what she did and is very sorry. At first I wanted to tell her to go to hell, but I thought about it for a minute and figured she was my sister. The least I could do was forgive her. After all, I had found a new boyfriend and was extremely happy with him. My sister and I reconnected, but I could still tell she was just as entitled and wanted to be the center of attention constantly. So much so that when my boyfriend proposed and we threw an engagement party, my sister figured she would bring her new boyfriend unannounced to the party and make herself the center of attention by introducing him to everyone and talking about him. He himself looked uncomfortable. We had a mini argument about it because my sister could not understand why this was wrong to do, but the argument ended on neutral terms, I suppose. My wedding then came around. Although my sister was not one of my bridesmaids as we were not super close, she was invited to the wedding and was allowed to bring her boyfriend. There were no red flags that she would attempt anything. Sure, for the last few family gatherings, such as Thanksgiving or Christmas, she spent the entire time talking about herself and how much she loves her boyfriend and even throwing a tantrum because her salad had too much cheese, but I digress. My wedding came about and it was beautiful. My dream wedding, pretty small, outdoors on a beautiful beach surrounded by flowers and trees. The ceremony came and my husband and I said our vows, and we kissed. Immediately after everyone clapped, and when the clapping stopped my sister spoke up. Everyone listened to her and I actually expected her to congratulate me or something, but nope. Knowing my sister, she was about to make herself the center of attention once again. She said that since we are here to celebrate love, we may as well as much as love as possible, and with that she got on one knee in front of her boyfriend and pulled out a ring to propose to him. Every single person stared at her in shock, and even her boyfriend looked very awkward too. I saw him silently say something to her, which led to her standing up and screaming at him. With that I signaled for the groomsmen to escort her, which they did, all while she violently thrashed about and even bit one of them. She was banned from the cocktail hour, which sucks for her as she loves her cocktails. Her boyfriend ended up leaving too, but before doing so he apologized to me and my husband privately. The next day while in the airport getting ready for my honeymoon, I got a text off my sister saying I humiliated her and I will be disowned from the family once my parents hear about this. I went full NC after I heard my father call my husband the N-word while on his phone to a friend. So my sister ended up following through with her promise and texted my parents about what I did to her at my wedding. She of course failed to mention that she proposed though, claiming I kicked her out for no good reason. Since I had both my parents' phone numbers blocked, I got a call from an unknown number, which ended up being my mother giving out about what a selfish bitch I am who kicks her sister out of her wedding for no good reason. I told my mother I had no interest in speaking to her and hung up. This only resulted in me getting added to a group chat roughly an hour later with my sister as well as my parents using the new phone number. I saw the group chat was filled with discussions of me, as well as how ungrateful I have been all these years. I decided to entertain it for a little bit, so I engaged in the conversation. I ended up getting my sister to admit to proposing at my wedding as the reason she got kicked out, but of course my parents still did not see this as a valid reason for me to toss her out. Not even after she got up and started yelling after her boyfriend presumably told her no. I was then informed with the biggest load of garbage I have heard to date. Check this out. My parents and my sister are suing me for emotional distress as following my sister's stunt at my wedding, her boyfriend decided to leave her. The thing is, I know this is not the only crack in their relationship, as my sister has bragged to me before about how she can cheat and her boyfriend won't leave her because he's so in love with her. Karma is a bitch, I guess. I ended up blocking my parents and my sister and focused on enjoying the honeymoon with my husband, which was amazing, but I have now actually been served with papers for emotional distress upon my return. What do I do now?